What's up, everyone? Hold on for 1 second. Okay, how's everyone doing out there? How we doing? Let's see here. If you're out there, say hello. Let's move that to that so that way people can chat. Okay, so we're going to talk today about burnout, and because quite honestly, I hate the word stress, even though like we all talk about stress, right? I hate the word stress because we all have stress. So when someone's like, you're stressed out, it's like, yeah, no kidding. Yeah, I'm stressed. Okay. So I just want to chat today. What's up, Anna? My girl. So I want to talk today about burnout because I think burnout is a much more approachable way and a much easier way to talk about how to get through life, you know, and also like active ways to deal with it, right? Because obviously we're in health and we're in holistic healing, and if there's one thing that I have seen in office, and Anna, who's in the chat, is my assistant and going to be a soon practitioner in the next couple months. And side note, shout out to Anna. She's doing a yoga class on November 2nd, and we are very excited for that. So if you can come out, we're going to be putting out a sign up sheet on our Facebook. So if you would like to join that, we only have very select spots because we have a smaller studio. So get in when you can. And we're doing pop-ups. So get in when you can. Shout out. So the reason why I wanted to discuss burnout is because I have seen in practice the amount of people that kind of sabotage themselves a little bit. They get really good and they're good for a little while, and then something in life happens and it kind of just turns them upside down. And what I can tell you from 35 years of living, I know that's not, it's very short compared to some of you obviously out there that are watching or going to watch this, but it all comes down to being yourself and owning who you are and not being ashamed of who you are and your choices, right? So let's say, for example, you come in, take care of yourself, and you invest in that, and that's great, right? If you have somebody who's not supportive, it's going to create a lot of stress, and it's going to burn you out in the process of whatever you're doing, whether it's taking care of yourself, in your health, in your finances, whatever, your career. If you don't have supportive people in your life, it's going to be very difficult and it's going to be very stressful. And then what's going to happen is that something's going to have to go and give. And almost always that's going to be, and you're going to end up compromising your health, your sanity, your, name the thing, right? So to me, I am supportive of whoever comes into the door. I'm supportive of whoever comes into my life and whoever leaves my life, right? Because I think at the end of the day, we're all in a different place in life, and we are all trying to just do the best we can and obviously thrive, right? Like if there's one thing I'm tired of seeing, it's people sabotaging themselves from living an amazing life, a thriving life, and one full of health, one full of experiences, of prosperity. And I can tell you till I'm blue in the face that when you start taking care of yourself, your prosperity will go through the roof. And I've seen it in client after client when they take it seriously and when they do take suggestions that we give to them, whether it be food, supplementation, moving your body, sleeping, resting, you start to realize a huge difference. So how to mitigate burnout? One is be yourself, right? That's the biggest thing. It is being yourself. And that's like the most real thing I can tell you. And the reason why I say that is because a lot of people, I have some young folks in office and in practice, and their biggest thing is, Matt, how do I be myself? And I forgot it, but it's over here. I use a gratitude journal every single morning. I write out what I'm grateful for. I write out things that I would like to do in my life. I also write out places that I'd like to start changing. I write out things that I'm really good at, because I think because of all the opinions sometimes they get into your head, and then what happens is it causes stress. I don't think people realize how much stress and where it comes from, right? People think it's just like, oh, work stress. Like, no, like stress can come from anything, right? Like, let's say you're trying to get healthier or start something new. Our norm is let me go hard and let me go, I'm going to use this term, balls to the wall, right? Let me go so hard that I am so exhausted because I've literally completely changed my entire life in a matter of a week or in a matter of a couple of weeks, right? The reason why that doesn't work is because your body goes into what's called a healing crisis, and that healing crisis causes your body to sort of rebel against you, and then you wonder why you have no self-control. You wonder why you have no discipline. You wonder why you don't have any willpower. The reason why is because you're doing too much too soon, okay? So I often coach people to slow down one thing at a time, whether it's a food, whether it's like, for example, I literally have just started to cut out coffee because I've tested and I found out that my body was like not liking it at all. Like several systems in my body were just not having it, right? So when I started to slowly, and when I mean slowly, I was drinking like 2 cups a day, some espresso here and there. Didn't really think much of it. I was like, I like coffee. I just went to Italy. I was like, they drink coffee out there, but obviously the quality is way different, right? So when you start to realize that these things have a huge impact, like coffee had a huge impact on me because it was very stress. I don't think people realize how much coffee stresses the body, right? It literally creates cortisol. It quite literally gets your adrenals pumping and gets your body moving. So when I tell people, oh, your body doesn't like coffee right now, like your body is sort of saying like, hey, we need a break from this. What do most people do? They go, I'm going to cold turkey this right here, right now. Never drink a cup ever again. Coffee's the devil. 1, breathe. It's not that deep. 2, slow down. Okay. The problem that happens with that is that you start getting headaches. Your body starts to go into what's called a panic. Like I said, a healing crisis. And when you do that, it can make your body go nuts. So I'm trying to tell you and show you, the more you do things slower on a gradient level, right? Slow and steady. And I know we don't like that because we want a quick fix, but guys, healing, true healing is not quick. And the reason why so many of you burn out quickly is because we tell you, like you listen to a YouTube video or a podcast and someone tells you all seed oils are bad. And it's like, yeah, they are. They're toxic as hell, right? For sure. But you need to slow down and you do one thing at a time, because you're going to look in that pantry and you're going to find 20 different things on seed oils, canola oil, safflower oil, sunflower oil, you name it, all the oils, that you are not that are not good for you, that are highly inflammatory. What you're going to do, you're going to get mad. So I like to kind of think of stress and burnout in like 3 phases, right? The first one is functioning. You are functioning in an extreme amount of stress and you don't even know it. Most people, when I tell them you're really stressed out, they're like, no, I'm not. And I'm like, okay, you are, but that's okay. You are very stressed. So the more we can show you through time and show you what it's actually like to live in a calm life. A lot of people are scared of living calm because they've lived in so much stress their whole life that they don't know anything other than that. Okay. So that's 1. And then, so I guess that's 2. Functioning, which is like you don't even realize it and you are going nuts. Normalizing it, which is, oh no, it's fine. Like that's normal for me. Like, and I can't tell you how many people I'll tell them that their adrenal count is like 500. They're like, I don't feel that. I'm like, because that's how badly for the past decade of your life you've been living like that. So of course you don't think it's bad. I can't tell you how many people come into my office and I start telling them like, hey, your stress is up. They're like, no, it's not. And I'm like, no, like it is. And they literally when you start to tell them and you start to give them signs of it, they're like, oh wow, yeah. But so many people are in what I call denial. Let me say that one more time. You are all in denial about how much stress you are actually under, and people don't realize how bad that is. And I'm going to read something from one of our brands that we carry in office called Perfect Amino. So it says, did you know too high cortisol levels not only build excess body fat, but prevent protein synthesis and actually break down your muscle? The hormone cortisol is vital to your body, but when levels get too high, it can cause a lot of trouble. It can raise our stress levels, making us irritated. What are we seeing in the world right now? People are irritated, they're angry, right? And cause us to have poor sleep. It can reduce blood flow, cause lactic acid to build up in our muscles, cause muscle breakdown, and slow muscle recovery. It lowers testosterone, guys, growth hormone, and progesterone levels, hormones necessary to build muscle and keep off excess body fat while also raising estrogen levels. So I hate to tell you guys, both men and women have estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. We have all of them. It's not like women only have estrogen and men only have that's not how it works, okay? So just remember, cortisol, like I said, lowers testosterone. So when you are highly stressed, men, it will cause you to go nuts and it will cause belly fat, okay? Women, it actually does the opposite. It causes your testosterone to go up. So it's like the same as sugar. When you eat too much sugar, your testosterone goes up, ladies, and your estrogen goes down. Men, it's the reverse, okay? So just really think about that, okay? So it can also, too much stress can damage your cells and increase insulin resistance, which then leads to high levels of insulin in the future and higher levels of body fat. So the more stressed you are, I hope this is making sense. The more stressed you are affects you so much. And so many people, they literally live in a regulated state of stress, and it's so high that you don't even know that because you've normalized it and you're in so much denial over how much stress you have and the burnout that you have, that it becomes insane, okay? So the reason why I titled this Burnout is because the reason for stress, in my opinion, is because 1, you are lacking purpose. 2, you are slightly, and I'm going to use this word, don't get mad, you're slightly a little insecure. I have places where I'm insecure too, so we all can own it. We're all adults here, right? We have insecurities, and it causes burnout. When you start to address the insecurity and you stop being in denial about it, it will literally impact your whole life because you stop allowing bad stuff in, okay? Burnout from energy vampires. Raise your hand and comment in the comments if you have an energy vampire in your life. What is an energy vampire? Hey, Bruno, what is an energy vampire? Anybody? An energy vampire. Anna, dead. An energy vampire is someone who basically sucks the life out of you. Whenever you're around them, they text you, they message you, they enter your space, whatever it is, they pull you down so quick. They make you insecure. They make you mad. They get you stressed out. Your blood starts boiling. You get hot flashes, things like that. I'm sure you have one around you. We all do. They make you question yourself a lot. They make you, they just make you feel not you, right? So, and what is the one thing I told you in the beginning to mitigate burnout? Be yourself. So if you're around people who are sucking you dry of your energy because you don't know how to put a boundary up, and I'll explain that one in a second, but if you don't know how to put a boundary up with that, then it's going to cause a little bit of a disarray in the body, and then your body's going to become dysregulated, right? So what we're trying to do here and talk about really is regulation in your body, right? If you continue to do the same thing over and over and over again, you're not going to change. And again, I'm not saying to do this quickly. I'm saying slowly over time, start looking at people who cause you stress. Start looking at things that cause you stress. Maybe it's your job. And guys, I'm not saying to quit your job tomorrow. I'm not saying to let go. If you're a client base like we are, I'm not saying to let go of people tomorrow. What I'm saying is you can slowly show people how you want to be treated. You can slowly show people that you're not going to put up with the lack of irresponsibility or lack of not being accountable in their life, right? Because I can tell you, working in any industry, service industry, people anymore don't like being accountable. They want someone to point the finger at. And if you're not secure enough in yourself, in any industry, in any relationship, you're going to get stressed because you're going to start questioning yourself. And that's another side of burnout, is when you're almost, and I have done this in my life, so I'm not even going to say that I've never done it, right? When you have allowed someone to kind of make you constantly second guess yourself, or constantly make you question everything that you do in life, things like that, like that's going to cause stress on your body. It's going to cause burnout because you're not going to be secure enough to go, I'm doing this for me. And if you don't support that, maybe you're not the right fit, right? And these are just very, again, I'm a conversationalist, so I'm never going to get mad at someone unless you deserve it. I'm never going to get mad at someone, but I am going to be very real with people. And I think that the realness, because for decades we've been a little too soft, we've been a little too sensitive over the past couple of years, okay? And I think the more we can sort of understand that the real burnout is inside of you, right? Like you are letting people sort of dictate to you how life should go, versus just being and owning who you are. And that's, honestly, I will tell you, in the past 2 years, that has been the biggest transformation that I have seen in my life, is no one tells me who I am anymore. And when someone does try to, instill something in me, I'll ask myself the question, like, is that me? I don't know. It doesn't feel like me. And I'll ask the question. So if you're curious on like a solution on how to mitigate it, it's not only like journaling. I think journaling is a great tool to start owning who you are. It's really asking yourself in the moment, like, am I doing this? Is that me? If someone says, oh, you talk too much, ask yourself, do you? If you do, start looking at that, and maybe you need to start listening more. Is it that, oh, you only talk about yourself? Well, do you? Because if you do, I mean, a lot of people talk about themselves. I mean, that's like, again, with everything in social media, everything's all about talking about yourself. So it could be, and again, if that's the case, it's okay. Just look at it and say to yourself, oh yeah, I guess I do that, right? But so I want to kind of go deeper into why this is affecting your body, because I don't want to just like preach at you guys about, stop being so stressed and how to, there's obviously solutions, and I'll name a couple of them a little bit later, but I've already named a few. But I want you guys to realize that you can't fix people. And I've learned this lesson the hard way. And if I can help you in any way, it is stop trying to fix people. People will come to their own when they are ready for it, no sooner and no later. And it needs to come from them. Change needs to come from the person. It cannot come from force. And that is also why so many people get burnt out. I used to get burnt out by clients all the time because I would tell them the same thing over and over and over again. But what I realized is they just weren't ready to do it. Or they just needed a slower approach. And the problem with why people get burnt out and get stressed out like this is because people don't know how to communicate. They don't know how to communicate effectively to who they are as a person, but also what they need. When I have like my coaches, I tell them right out the gate, this is who I am, and this is what I'm looking for in a coach, right? My very first business coach, the one I hired earlier this year, we had a conversation. Guys, I'm not even gonna lie to you. We had a conversation, and I was so excited to work with him. But then our very next session, he was telling me that, like, and he doesn't care if I tell you guys this, but he said something to me, basically saying, hey, dude, like, you almost saying like you suck, like you're not doing enough, you need to do more. And it was very discouraging. And I hung up, called my assistant Anna, right out the gate. And she was like, don't call him. You're still too charged. I was like, no, I have to do this. I cannot be stressed about a relationship like that going into like any kind of like business or personal relationship. Like I am a communicator, and called him right up. And I said, hey man, listen, I am really excited to work with you, but I need encouragement. Like I am the kind of person where if you really want me to do something like that and you want me to change, I need encouragement. I don't need you to beat me down more than I already am, right? So, and he literally was like, I'm so sorry. Thank you for communicating that. Guys, the key here is that you just need to communicate. And if you're not around people who are supportive and communicative in this journey, especially not just health, but in the journey of life, you need people who are supportive, who are encouraging. Obviously can have tough conversations, but the reason why so many people get burnt out so fast is because they don't have supportive people, right? They are stuck because they really want to change, but they have so many people in their life that like tell them you can't do this, there's no way, and it's like we have created such a community of people, but guys, if there's one thing that I see, y'all don't use us. You don't use the community. So you all want a community, but then you don't use the community. It's like, it's crazy. So again, it's almost like you think you're on this lonely island, but you're not. Like you have so many resources, use them, right? Use the resources, but you have to, no one can force you to use them. And it's the same thing with like all these YouTube channels and all these podcasts. Guys, people are telling you every single day how to do stuff. But the problem is that you need to take some action, right? Like burnout just really means like lack of taking action on yourself. That's really what it comes down to. The more I look at myself and I go, I don't like, so I actually have this written on my notes here, that life is a mere reflection of how you feel internally. So if internally you're in chaos and you're so used to chaos, it's going to take you a little bit of time to not have a chaotic life, right? I actually realized that I was living a chaotic life about 2 years ago. It was because I was in the theater, I was doing all these things, and no down to the theater, but like y'all are drama. Like I love you, but you're drama. And when I came out of that world and started to just own who I was and have it, kind of separate myself and kind of isolate myself just a little bit, because I think we all need a bit of isolation sometimes to figure out who we are. And I mean that even in a marriage and in a relationship. You need to figure out who you are because it changes all the time. I think like just how your body changes all the time. Like I talk about this in so many videos, just like how your body changes all the time. So do you. The healthier you get, you're going to change. You're going to get more secure in yourself. You're going to get more grounded. You're going to get more excited about life, and you're not going to tolerate negative people. Like you're just not. So the more you really truly like dig into like that internal stuff and you enjoy the process of like unwinding that, like it was hard. I'm not going to lie. Like it was rough for a minute. But the thing that I noticed was that every time that I would like slowly make changes, like for example, I started to look at why is my life so chaotic and why is my life so disorganized? And I was just like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to start cleaning. I'm going to organize one room and I'm going to throw out things, but I didn't do every room at once. I did one room at a time, or I would do my closet. I would do my office. Like we've redone the office the flow of the office several times because when we first started, it worked for where it was, but then we grew and that needed to change for where it was. This is how you actually like get out of burnout, is you have to like change things up a little bit, right? I think we all get so set in our ways that I'm like, I like change. I'm a bit of a Gemini, so I enjoy that change. I enjoy the like chameleon aspect of being a Gemini and like saying, you know what, like we haven't traveled in a minute and I'm going to go take a trip. Or, like the office worked, but we need to change something up and like make it less stale or make it, a little bit more vibrant. Even today, I have a plant wall in my office, or was it yesterday? I think it was yesterday. Anna made a joke to me. She was like, yo, these plants look dead as hell. And I was like, yeah, it's kind of how I feel right now. Right? Just because it was a long day, I was like, it was just funny, right? You have to make jokes sometimes. So we were like, let's put some new life in there, right? So Eventually we'll get to that. But my point is, like, life is more enjoyable when you start to realize that you can flow. You can enjoy like the flow of life a little bit, not make everything so like rigid. And I'm working on this myself, of being a little bit more spontaneous, not taking things, I'm a serious guy when I need to be, but I'm also very playful, and I'm trying to play into that a little bit more. So all I guess is the biggest thing is like, step out of your comfort zone. Like, if you go to someone like us for help, let us help you. Don't fight us, right? Like, we're trying to do our best to help you with where you're at. And I think that's also a big part of burnout. Big part of burnout. Here we go. Just hit another level. So a big part of burnout is you need to know where you're at, just like communication, right? So if you come into our office, or let's say you're trying to date someone, or you're in a new, whatever the situation may be, let the person be where they're at. Let them listen, stop changing people. Stop trying to fix people. Let them be who they are in the moment. And if over time you're like, hey, I really noticed this, and this is something that's really important to me, if we can like maybe start making little changes here and there, it's all in how you communicate, guys. It's not difficult, but it's just a matter of your approach, right? Sometimes I have to be a hard ass with people, because when I say the same thing to y'all 400 times and I'm like, stop eating the damn Doritos, or I say, stop, quit your damn job because it's stressful, or whatever the case may be, right? Like, I'm not saying to do it tomorrow, but like in your brain, start thinking like, how can I make steps? Because Matt's right. Like, I'm pointing things out, you guys, and this is to people like in general, not just in practice. I point things out because I'm like, start looking at this. Like, just bring some I do it to draw awareness to people, not so that people feel like shit about themselves. I do it so that people can start going, yeah, you're right, I need to start looking at that. Or, yeah, my diet hasn't been the best. I probably should just start, like really tracking it and writing down what I eat. Because y'all would be surprised what you see when you start writing things down. You're like, ooh, I had 4 bowls of ice cream this week. That is not cute. I need to back off. And maybe I'll do 3 this week instead of 4, right? This is what I'm trying to tell you. The slower you look at things, the better. And maybe you focus on one area. Like, for example, like if you're a new client coming into your health and you are coming to us and we're here to help you and help you transform. Transformation is not a 3-month process. That is our minimum, but it's not a 3-month process. It's a lifelong process. It's a lifelong journey. Okay. So when you slowly make change, and and I'm talking about every sector of your life, it could be finances. That's where I'm working right now. I'm slowly like digging myself, pulling myself out of situations, and realizing like I'm learning how to manage flow of currency, right? That's what I'm learning. And when you realize like it's so much simpler, but we focus so much on like the goal, right? And that's the next thing I want to talk about. I'm all about a goal. I love a good goal. Give me a goal, child. I will crush it, right? I will really do it. But the problem with you guys, I shouldn't say you guys, that was rude. Sorry. The problem with the world is that, see, effective communicating. I came off a little aggressive. I apologize. The problem with goals, in my opinion, everyone has a different opinion. If this resonates with you, great. It really struck me as I've been learning this. So if it strikes a chord with you, awesome. I'm all about a goal and like outcome and, hitting that threshold or whatever it is. It's awesome, right? But the problem is that when you focus on something that hard and that intensely, and you are just like, I gotta get that next goal. If I don't get it, my life's gonna end. Guess what? You're probably not gonna get it, or it's gonna be very stressful because it's all you're gonna think about for the next friggin' 30, 60-year day, whatever it is, right? And all you're gonna think about until it's done is that. And it's like, how stressful is that, right? So I'm all about setting a goal, but also like, okay, set it, then forget it, right? Set it and then forget it. Stop thinking so much. Stop being so worried about it. Just enjoy. So you set the goal, great. Now go live life, right? Seriously, now go live life. I've learned this the hard way, and I've learned it many a time. And I feel like the universe, I feel like God is constantly like, are you done yet? Right? Like, are you finished trying to control me and control how this goes? And I'm like, you're right. Yes, I'm tired. And it's because it's exhausting when you're always like, I got to get that next 10 grand. I got to find that relationship. I got to, really lose that weight. Guess what? You are that close and that tight and that laser focus on that goal. I guarantee you you're going to get it, but you're going to get it with condition, right? So, and that's why so many people get stressed out, is because they're expecting it to happen their way. It could be you're buying a house. When I was buying this house, or when I was buying my house a couple of years ago, guys, I was so stressed because I literally was like, oh my God, I have to get the perfect house. I have to get this. I have to get that. It has to have a pool. It has to have, and I was like, I'm not ready for a pool. I'm not ready for all these things. And then I literally just like, at one point was just like, I give up. I stopped looking. And within a matter of a few days, one of my family, like an extended family member, was like, hey, I'm actually going to sell my condo. Do you want it? And I was like, yeah, that actually sounds great. And it was like the perfect location. It had it's a condo, but it has a pool, right? It has all these things. And I'm like, I literally have everything that I need. That's crazy. Because I was like not putting this expectation on how I wanted things to happen. I just was like, okay, life is not that exhausting all the time. Like, don't get me wrong. It has its moments, right? It certainly has its moments. I was feeling great past couple weeks. Yesterday morning, woke up, was driving to work, got a flat tire at 6:30 in the morning. And I was like, great. Stress, right? I was stressed out. Oh my gosh, how am I going to get to work? And then at one point, I just went, you know what? Whatever. It is what it is. I can't change it. What am I going to do about it? Continue to worry about it, burn myself out all day long? Because that's what's going to happen, is that if I'm thinking about that, again, the burnout is a lot here. It's a lot of mental burnout because you're thinking about things all day long. What if you stopped thinking so much? What if you just said, you know what? I'm going to stop thinking for a minute. It's really hard because you guys don't realize that this is your real enemy. It's your own damn brain that just continues to go and go and go and go. When you start to settle down those thoughts, and that's why I say gratitude, because when you start to be in gratitude and you start to literally just exist in the present moment and listen to who's in front of you and enjoy all those interactions, you start to go, and you have kids, you start to enjoy those moments. It's like you realize that, wow, life is really actually kind of awesome. But I will tell you, when you listen to bad podcasts or fear-based podcasts or fear-based things, guess what it does to your energy? It tanks you, dude. It will tank you. I can't tell you, when you have a negative client, when you have a negative person, when you have a negative family member, when you're around it, it tanks you. It does. Tell me I'm wrong. I know you can't. You know that family member that you're like, oh, here we go. You know that person, you know that individual, whoever or whatever the circumstance is, you're like, I really don't want to go to this anymore. But you do it anyway because you're like, why? Because you put yourself second when you're really the leading character in your own damn movie, right? So I hope this is starting to make sense, because we're getting to the end here. But I just wanted to kind of reiterate why we're talking about this. And it's because the stress and the burnout that happens can be stopped. It just needs to come from you. You need to start realizing that you have way more power in yourself, that you have a higher power that has your back all the time, but you need to trust it, right? And you just have so much around you that's constantly being activated, but you just need to remember that the more you, again, on a slow gradient, start to pull out people that you've wanted to for a long time, you're going to be like, oh my God, my life is actually really calm. And what's going to happen, I'm going to warn you, because what's going to happen is that you're going to fight like hell to keep that chaos and to keep that stress, because it's what you have been normalized to and what you know. So what my job is as a coach is to say, hey, I'm pointing this out to you now. You're literally finding and trying to seek out an opportunity to make you stressed again. Let's stop that right now, right? People don't know that they do this. They literally don't even realize it. So you keep on repeating it. If you don't repair that mindset, if you don't start to look at that, write it down, honestly, guys, it's going to sound really weird. Sometimes I will literally be in my car, and it is like when I get done a session or when I get done my day, I will literally tell myself in my car, is there anything, Matt, that we need to let go of? Is there anything, Matt, that somebody said to you that triggered you? Is there anything that that somebody put onto you that you were questioning about yourself and you were over analyzing it that we need to let go of? I ask myself those questions. I'll sometimes ask myself that in the moment, and I'll be like, what he just said to me was not even true. So I just let it go because it's not even who I am, right? It's a savage move because when you're in the moment and you do that in your brain, and let's say someone says that you're obnoxious and you're in your head and you're like, am I obnoxious? If you are, own it. Be like, yep, you're right. I am a little bit. But if you're not and you're like, actually, no, that might be you projecting. I'd be like, actually, you're projecting. And I've said that to people and they're like, because people aren't used to being called out for their shit. They're used to you taking it. And that's why you get burnt out. And that's why you get stressed. And that's why stress continues in your life, is because you need to own. I've called family members out for their anxiety. I've called family members out for their depression. I literally call people victims. I'm like, stop being a victim. Stop being a victim. I am not here to support your victimhood. Even clients, I have compassion for you. I love you, but I will not support victimhood because we have allowed it for way too long. Way too long. And I know that y'all don't like that. I know that we don't like being victims, right? It's just like so unattractive. So I hope this is helping. I hope that you're realizing that the real burnout is coming possibly from people in your life. It's possibly coming from you're doing things a little too quickly. It's coming possibly from you don't have guidance and you need some. It's coming possibly because you have energy vampires in your life that are just sucking you dry and you don't know how to stop it. And the way you stop it is that you just say, I'm done, right? And you slowly, again, what's the key phrase today? Slowly, or on a gradient, right? Don't just cut people out. That's not healthy, right? That is extremely all or nothing mindset. And if you slowly do things, it shows you maturity. It teaches your body that it can handle doing things slow, and it doesn't have to be so abrupt, right? It will teach your body slowly over time and your brain slowly over time that it can be accountable. It will teach you slowly over time that it can handle stressful situations. And it will also teach you who and what you are not willing to put up with or what you are willing to put up with, okay? So all these things, you guys, are just ways to say no or yes, right? It's literally a yes or a no. It's that simple. If you have a maybe is a BS thing, right? It's always a yes or a no. And I've been taught that so many times by mentors in my past that they're like, if it's a maybe, it's a no, right? And we all know that if I'm maybeing you, it's usually a no for me, right? I'm like, maybe, no, I don't, right? It's a people pleasing way to say no. I don't really want to do that, instead of just saying and being direct and saying no, right? So to sum it all up, the reason why you have burnout is because, one, you need to start looking at who you are and own it. Wherever you are in life, just own it and be okay with it. Stop trying to be something that you're not. If you have a goal to be a millionaire in 5 years, that's great. Put that goal out there, let it go, do the work on yourself and on helping people and putting good value out to people. But at the end of the day, live life, right? And do that slowly, because that will not happen overnight. We all want to get rich quick. It don't happen. I can tell you that. I've tried it. It doesn't work. Okay? So be okay with where you're at and where you're going. Okay? Make moves slowly to better yourself. So if you want to start transforming your kitchen cabinets, great. Slowly start to do that. Do not just throw out your kitchen and then go, now what, Matt? Guys, bad news, bad idea, right? Start taking out one thing at a time. 1 week you take out the Doritos. The next week you take out the seed oil. The next week, one thing at a time. Otherwise, you're going to be like, Matt, this is so expensive. Well, I told you to go slow. Okay? Every day, gratitude. Every single day, never miss a day, ever. Write it out on a piece of paper, say it out loud, whatever you need to do. I write it and speak it because I think that it engages a new belief system. The reason why so many people are burnt out, the reason why so many people are negative and so many people are victims is because they are a victim of their own self-beliefs, of their own mindsets, right? So they've allowed their mind and their brain and their belief systems to just continue, right? So if you let something continue and continue and continue, how are you going to expect change? You won't, okay? Every single day, in order to recreate, you need to do something different. I'm telling you now, it changed my life. Every single day that I do it continues to. Every day, write down, I am grateful for, and write down the next statement, okay? Write down the next word or whatever it is. Every day, don't miss a day. If you are on supplements, never miss a day, ever. It is regulating your nervous system every single day, okay? Every day you're eating food when you do that, right? Every single time that you take a supplement, you are getting nutrition that you will not get from food. And it is also detoxing you. So just remember that that is one form of self-sabotage. If you can't stick to that simple thing, then that's where you need to start. If you're on a supplement program with us, that is where you need to do the work, because that is where you're going to see the fastest results and the best results and the easiest results. But you need to stick to it and don't skip it, okay? You actually set yourself back when you do that. The last thing that I'm going to say, and it goes in line with gratitude, write down every single day what you want in your life. Be specific, okay? The more you do that, you're going to start bringing those things into reality, because there's a connection that people don't even realize. There's a connection to your hand on paper, right? There is a connection, your heart and your brain, hand, pen to paper. There is. You may think I'm crazy, but there is a total quantum connection to when you put pen to paper, okay? Write down what you want your life to look like in the next 5 years, in the next year, in the next 6 months. Don't be too big. I'm a big dreamer. I have big dreams. I have big aspirations, but make the timeline something that isn't going to burn you out more, right? Make the timeline something that's not going to stress you out. Make the timeline an achievable timeline versus something that's going to make you more panicked and more stressed, because the more stress you have, and the more burnout you're going to have, and the more you're going to go, I can't keep up with this. It's too much. Because like I said, slow and steady, right? One thing at a time, and watch your life change dramatically. I hope this helped you guys. It was my honor to come on and talk about this. I've been thinking about doing this for a couple of weeks now, because I see people burning themselves out every single day in practice because they are doing things way too fast. Please like this. Please share it to people who you think could benefit from this conversation. And this, it's not really a conversation, it's just me talking to you, but people who could benefit from it. We are accepting some new clients right now. So if you would like if you would like to join us, honoryourhealth.life. And if somebody needs a phone call, we're more than happy to discuss our services and things like that. But Honor Your Health info at honoryourhealth.life, and you can reach out to us there. Anna, like I said, is doing a yoga class on November 2nd, $10, cash only. We're having, I think it's 10:30, if I'm not mistaken. 10, Anna, is it 10 o'clock? I think it's 10 o'clock. It's either 10 or 10:30, and then 11 or 11:30. Can't remember off the top of my head. But we have that, and then we also have a pop-up Pilates with our new Pilates instructor, Jenna, is coming in, and she will be in on November 16th. Those times will be to be determined, so we will let you all know on our Facebook when those are out. Hope you guys have such an amazing night. Remember, you deserve to be healthy. You deserve to be on this planet. You deserve rest. You deserve recovery. You deserve good people around you. You deserve to eat well. You deserve to all the things. You deserve to have such an amazing life. So go out there, start making small changes, make one change and stick to it for a couple of weeks. And then when you can commit to that and that's done, you move on to the next one. All right. Have an awesome day, awesome night, and a great weekend, guys. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.